My name is Sarah, and I am 26 years old. Just 27 days after giving birth to my beautiful son, Oliver, I came closer to death than I had ever imagined. What hurt even more than the pain was discovering that my own mother cared more about attending a Beyoncé concert than helping her daughter during a life-threatening emergency. It is a memory I will never forget. That afternoon started like any other day. It was around 4 o'clock, and I was at home alone with my 3-week-old baby. My husband, Jason, had already left for work earlier that morning. His office was in downtown Los Angeles, nearly an hour away from our house. Oliver had just woken up from a short nap. He was hungry, so I changed his diaper before getting ready to feed him. I remember smiling at his tiny face, thinking how lucky I was to be his mother. Then, without any warning, everything changed. As I stood beside the changing table, I suddenly felt a warm rush running down my legs. At first, I froze. When I looked down, my heart almost stopped. Blood. There was so much blood that it soaked through my clothes within seconds. It kept coming, and I knew something was terribly wrong. During my pregnancy, doctors had explained the warning signs of postpartum hemorrhage. They had told me it was rare but dangerous. I listened politely during those appointments, never believing it would happen to me. But now, standing in my bathroom, I realized this was exactly what they had warned me about. Fear rushed through my body. My hands started shaking so badly that I almost dropped my phone. Oliver began crying from his bassinet, unaware that his mother was fighting to stay standing. I grabbed the bathroom counter for support and dialed 911. The dispatcher answered almost immediately. 911, what is your emergency? I'm bleeding, I whispered, trying not to panic. I had a baby 3 weeks ago. There's so much blood. I can't stop it. The dispatcher remained calm. Help is on the way. Can you tell me approximately how much blood you've lost? I don't know, I answered, my voice trembling. I've already soaked through several pads in just a few minutes. I feel dizzy. I don't think I can stay on my feet. Stay with me, the dispatcher said gently. The ambulance has already been dispatched. Are you alone in the house? Yes, I replied. My husband is at work, and I'm here with my newborn son. I heard Oliver crying louder. The sound broke my heart. The dispatcher continued speaking. Is there anyone nearby who can come and stay with your baby while the paramedics take you to the hospital? Only one person came to mind. My mother, I said. She lives about 20 minutes away. Call her now, the dispatcher encouraged. I'll stay on the line. I switched my phone to speaker mode and searched for my mother's number with trembling fingers. She answered after several rings. Sarah, what's wrong? I'm having lunch with your sister. The fear in my chest exploded into desperation. Mom, please listen. I'm having severe postpartum bleeding. The ambulance is coming. I need you to come here immediately and stay with Oliver. For a few seconds, she said nothing. I could hear people talking in the background, dishes clattering, and music playing inside the restaurant. Then she sighed. Are you sure it's really that serious? She asked. Maybe it's just a heavy period. You always worry too much about medical things. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mom, I cried, I've soaked through 3 pads in less than 15 minutes. I can barely stand. This is an emergency. Instead of sounding worried, she sounded annoyed. Well, how long is this going to take? She asked. I stared at the phone in disbelief. What do you mean? Your sister and I have plans tonight. We bought Beyoncé tickets months ago. They cost $800 each. For a moment, I thought she had to be joking. She wasn't. I tightened my grip on the counter as another wave of dizziness hit me. Mom, I think I'm dying. Sarah slowly opened her eyes, feeling weak and confused. The bright hospital lights hurt her eyes, and every part of her body felt exhausted. Her throat was dry, and she struggled to understand where she was. The last thing she remembered was being in terrible pain at home. Then everything had gone dark. Jason was sitting beside her hospital bed, holding her hand tightly. His eyes were red from crying, and it looked like he hadn't slept in hours. As soon as he saw Sarah awake, he leaned closer. Sarah, he whispered, his voice shaking with emotion. "You scared me so much." She looked at him, confused. "What happened?" Jason took a deep breath before answering. "You almost died," he said quietly. "The doctors said you lost nearly 3 liters of blood. The bleeding wouldn't stop, so they had to rush you into emergency surgery." Sarah stared at him in shock. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "The doctors found that some placental tissue was still inside your uterus after the delivery," Jason continued. "That caused the severe bleeding. If they hadn't operated when they did, things could have ended very differently." She closed her eyes for a moment, trying to process everything. Then she suddenly remembered something. "Oliver," she whispered. "Is our baby okay?" Jason smiled for the first time since she woke up. "Our little boy is perfectly healthy," he said. "He's safe." He pulled out his phone and opened several photos. "Look," Sarah saw pictures of Oliver sleeping peacefully, wrapped tightly in his favorite blanket. He looked comfortable and completely unaware of the terrifying events happening around him. He was resting in a professional hospital bassinet inside a private room. Jason smiled as he showed her the pictures. "Jennifer took care of everything," he explained. "She set up a small nursery inside the hospital. She's been with Oliver for the last 6 hours without taking a break." Sarah looked surprised. "She hasn't left his side," Jason continued. "She's been bottle feeding him with the milk you pumped before everything happened. She's held him, comforted him, changed his diapers, and spent hours doing skin-to-skin care so he would feel safe." His smile slowly disappeared. "Sarah," he said quietly, "this woman was a complete stranger just a few hours ago, but she has done more for our son in 6 hours than your own mother has done since he was born." The room became silent. Jason looked at Sarah with concern. "What happened when you called your mom?" he asked. Sarah hesitated before answering. "I told her everything," she said softly. "I reminded her about our lunch plans. I mentioned the Beyoncé concert tickets she didn't want to waste. I told her I was bleeding badly and that the paramedics were on their way. I begged her to come watch Oliver." She swallowed hard. "But she said she had already raised her own children. She told me I needed to figure things out myself. She even accused me of being dramatic." The moment Jason heard those words, his face filled with anger. He stood up so quickly that his chair crashed onto the floor. "She actually said that?" he asked in disbelief. Sarah nodded. Jason couldn't believe it. "She told you to deal with it yourself while you were bleeding to death," he shouted. "While her 3-week-old grandson needed someone to care for him?" His hands were shaking with anger. "Where is she?" he demanded. "Is she here at the hospital?" Sarah sighed. "I don't know." Jason pulled out his phone. "I'm calling her." Sarah reached toward him. "Jason, please don't." But he had already started dialing. After the second ring, Sarah's mother answered. "Jason," she said cheerfully. "How's Sarah? We've been worried sick. The concert just ended, and we finally saw all your missed calls." Jason's voice became cold. "You've been worried?" There was complete silence. "You spent the last 4 hours at a concert while Sarah was having emergency surgery to save her life." Sarah's mother sounded defensive. "Jason, you're exaggerating." Sarah said she was bleeding after giving birth. "That's completely normal." Jason's patience disappeared. "She didn't lose a little blood," he said firmly. "She lost 3 liters. Her blood pressure dropped to 80/50 before the ambulance even arrived. She went into shock. The doctors told us she could have died." The line became quiet. Finally Sarah's mother spoke. "Well, how were we supposed to know it was that serious? Sarah has always exaggerated medical problems." Jason's voice grew louder. "She told you she was hemorrhaging." He paused. "She told you an ambulance was coming." Another pause. "She begged you to come watch your grandson." His anger became impossible to hide. "And you refused because you didn't want to miss a concert." Sarah's mother tried to defend herself. "Those tickets cost a lot of money." Jason interrupted her immediately. "I don't care how expensive those tickets were." His voice echoed through Sarah's hospital room. "Your daughter almost died today." He continued without stopping. Your grandson had to stay with people he barely knew because his own grandmother cared more about entertainment than family. Sarah's mother tried again. That's unfair. We came as soon as the concert ended. Jason laughed bitterly. 4 hours later. He shook his head. By then Sarah was already in surgery. Hospital staff had already found emergency help because you made it clear you weren't coming when your daughter needed you most. Sarah's mother's tone became cold. Jason, you're being disrespectful. We're Sarah's parents. We deserve to see her. Jason answered without hesitation. You don't deserve anything. His words were calm but powerful. You gave up that privilege the moment you chose a concert over your daughter's life. Without saying another word, Jason ended the call. Then he blocked Sarah's mother's phone number. Next he blocked Sarah's sister. Finally he blocked Sarah's father's number. He put his phone away. They're not visiting you, he said quietly. Sarah looked at him. They won't meet Oliver again unless you decide they should. If one day you choose to forgive them, I'll support your decision. But until then, they don't get access to you or our son. Sarah thought she should argue. She thought she should tell Jason he was being too harsh. Instead, she felt something she never expected. Relief. About an hour later, Dr. Morrison entered the room. She was an experienced obstetrician in her 50s, known for being calm, honest, and compassionate. She smiled gently at Sarah. You are incredibly lucky, she said. Another 30 minutes, and we might have been forced to remove your uterus to save your life. If treatment had been delayed any longer, the outcome could have been much worse. She explained everything carefully. The bleeding happened because part of the placenta remained attached inside your uterus after delivery. We had to remove it surgically and repair the damage it caused. Sarah listened quietly before asking the question that frightened her most. Will I ever be able to have another baby? Dr. Morrison smiled. Yes, but you'll need time to recover. We recommend waiting at least 18 months before another pregnancy, and you'll be considered high risk. We'll monitor you very closely. She paused. May I ask you something? Sarah nodded. When you called your mother for help today, what exactly did she say? Sarah repeated every detail. As she listened, Dr. Morrison's expression became serious. She stood up. Excuse me for a moment. She walked into the hallway where Sarah's parents were waiting. My name is Dr. Morrison, she said professionally. I understand you're Sarah's parents. Yes, Sarah's mother answered. We've been waiting over an hour. Her husband refuses to let us see her. Dr. Morrison folded her arms. Actually, I gave that order. Sarah's mother looked surprised. We're her family. The doctor nodded. I know exactly who you are. Her voice became firm. Your daughter suffered a life-threatening postpartum hemorrhage caused by retained placental tissue. When she called you, she was already going into shock. Her blood pressure had dropped to a critically dangerous level, and she was losing blood rapidly. She looked directly at Sarah's mother. Without emergency surgery, she likely would not have survived. The hallway became completely silent. Dr. Morrison continued. According to Sarah, she called you begging for help with her 3-week-old baby, and you refused because you had concert tickets. Is that true? Sarah's mother looked uncomfortable. We didn't realize it was that serious. The doctor's expression didn't change. She told you she was hemorrhaging. She told you paramedics were on the way. What part of that sounded unimportant? Sarah's mother quietly replied, Sarah has always been dramatic. Dr. Morrison immediately stopped her. No. Her voice was calm but sharp. Your daughter almost died today. She lost nearly half of her blood volume. We had to perform emergency surgery to save her life. She now faces weeks of recovery because she didn't receive the support she desperately needed. The doctor sighed. I've worked as an obstetrician for 27 years. I've witnessed many difficult family situations, but I have never seen grandparents refuse to help during a life-threatening emergency simply because they didn't want to miss a concert. Sarah's mother looked down. The tickets were expensive. Dr. Morrison interrupted again. So your daughter's life was worth less than the price of those tickets? No one answered. Finally, the doctor asked one last question. If Sarah had died on her bathroom floor while you were enjoying that concert, Would the show have been worth it? The silence lasted several seconds. Sarah's mother finally whispered, "That's not fair." Dr. Morrison looked at her calmly. "Neither is abandoning your daughter during the most dangerous moment of her life." She turned around and walked back into Sarah's room. "I'm sorry," she told Sarah. "Normally I don't get involved in family disagreements. But as your doctor, I have to record why you had no family support during a critical medical emergency. What I heard today was so deeply irresponsible that I couldn't stay silent." Sarah looked at her. "What did my mother say after that?" Dr. Morrison gave a small smile. "Nothing that made sense." She paused. "She left the hospital less than a minute after I asked that final question, Dr. Morrison gave a small, serious smile before asking a question that made the whole room fall silent. "Do you think that concert would have been worth it if you had lost your life?" No one answered. The silence itself said everything. Later that evening, around 9 p.m., Jason's mother, Ellen, arrived after driving all the way from San Diego. She rushed into my hospital room wearing the same work clothes she had been wearing all day. She looked exhausted, but she didn't seem to care. Her hands were full of shopping bags packed with everything a new mother could need. "Oh, honey," she whispered as she carefully hugged me, making sure not to hurt my healing body. "I came as fast as I could." She started unpacking the bags one by one. I brought nursing pads, comfortable pajamas, hospital underwear, nipple cream, snacks, toiletries, and anything else I thought you might need. "You really didn't have to do all of this," I said softly. She smiled warmly. "Of course I did. Your family." Then she turned toward Jason. "Where's my grandson?" "Jennifer is watching him in the family room," Jason replied. "She's been amazing." Ellen immediately walked to meet Oliver. About 20 minutes later, she returned with my tiny baby sleeping peacefully in her arms. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she looked at him. "He's absolutely perfect," she whispered. "I already love him so much." Then she looked at me with grateful eyes. Jennifer explained his entire routine to me. She wrote detailed notes about everything: his feeding schedule, diaper changes, sleeping times, and even what helps calm him down. "Sarah, that woman is truly an angel." Just then Jennifer, the emergency postpartum nurse who had cared for Oliver all day, stepped into the room. "Everything is ready," she said with her usual calm smile. "I've written detailed instructions for Ellen. Oliver has been fed, changed, burped, and cuddled. He's doing wonderfully." She turned to me. "You did an incredible job today, Sarah. You made difficult decisions while facing one of the scariest moments of your life." I looked at her with tears in my eyes. "I don't know how I'll ever thank you." She gently shook her head. "You already have. You protected your son even while your own life was in danger. That's what a loving mother does." Before leaving, Jennifer explained that her emergency care services would be billed to my insurance. "Most insurance plans cover emergency postpartum care," she explained. "But even if yours doesn't, calling for help was still the right decision. Never regret choosing your health and your baby's safety." After Jennifer left, Ellen sat beside my hospital bed with Oliver sleeping peacefully against her chest. "I'm staying here for as long as you need me," she said. "I've taken family leave from work. I can stay for 2 full weeks." "You don't have to do that," I replied. "I know," she answered gently. "I'm doing it because I want to. That's what grandmothers are supposed to do." After a quiet moment, her expression became serious. "Jason told me everything your mother said." I lowered my eyes. "Sarah," she continued, "I need you to understand something very clearly. What your mother did was unforgivable." She paused before continuing. "Refusing to help during a medical emergency would have been terrible on its own. But telling you to figure it out while you were bleeding and fighting for your life, that wasn't just selfish. It was cruel." I didn't know what to say. "She's still my mother," I whispered. Ellen reached over and gently squeezed my hand. "Sharing the same blood doesn't give someone permission to hurt you. Family should protect each other, not abandon each other. What she did was emotional abuse, Sarah. You don't owe anyone forgiveness just because they're related to you." Her words stayed with me. 3 days later, I was finally discharged from the hospital. When we arrived home, I was shocked. Ellen had completely transformed the house into a peaceful recovery space. She had cooked enough meals for 2 weeks, organized every baby supply, prepared a comfortable nursing station beside my bed, stocked the refrigerator, cleaned every room, and even created a daily schedule so I could focus on resting and bonding with Oliver. "You only have 2 jobs," she told me with a smile. "Heal your body and love your son. I'll take care of everything else." For the first time since giving birth, I felt safe. My own mother called 17 times on the first day I was home. I ignored every single call. 4 days later, a handwritten letter arrived in the mail. It read, "Sarah, I don't understand why you're shutting us out. We're your parents, and we love you. We came to the hospital as soon as we could. Dr. Morrison treated me very unfairly and spoke to me with unbelievable disrespect. I'm seriously considering filing a complaint against her. Everyone is making far too much of the concert situation. Yes, we had expensive tickets. But if we had known things were truly life-threatening, we would have left immediately. You never made it sound that serious. I think Jason and his mother are turning you against your own family. Ellen has always been jealous of our relationship with you, and now she's poisoning you against us. There's also the issue of the monthly money transfer. It suddenly stopped. We're assuming it's just a banking mistake, but we have bills that need to be paid. Please check with your bank and call us. We miss you and Oliver. Love, Mom. I read the letter twice. I searched every sentence hoping to find even one sincere apology. Instead, I found excuses. I found blame. I found complaints. And I found another request for money. So I decided to write back. You're right about one thing. I began. Dr. Morrison was harsh with you. She was harsh because you told your own daughter to solve her own emergency while she was bleeding heavily after childbirth. She was harsh because you chose a concert over your daughter's life. You didn't come to the hospital as soon as you could. You arrived 4 hours later, after the concert had ended and after I had already gone through emergency surgery. You came when it was convenient for you, not when I desperately needed you. No one is exaggerating what happened. These are simply the facts. You also asked about the monthly money transfers. They didn't stop because of a banking error. I cancelled them. For the past 10 years. I have been sending you $7,369 every month. That adds up to $600,000. Not once did you thank me. Not once did you ask whether I could actually afford it. Not once did you show appreciation. Yet when I begged for help with your grandson while I was fighting for my life, you told me you had already raised your children and that I needed to figure things out myself. From now on, that money will be used for Oliver, the grandson you chose not to protect when he needed you most. Please don't contact me again unless you're ready to accept complete responsibility for your actions. No excuses. No blaming other people. Just honest accountability. I sealed the envelope and mailed it before fear or guilt could convince me to change my mind. 2 days later, my mother appeared at my front door without warning. Ellen answered before I could. "Patricia," she said firmly. "What do you want?" "I need to see my daughter. Sarah doesn't want visitors." "I'm her mother," Patricia snapped. "I have every right to see her." Ellen stood her ground. "You gave up that right the moment you abandoned her during a medical emergency. You can't keep me away from my own grandson. I have legal authority to make medical decisions while Sarah is recovering," Ellen replied calmly. "She has clearly told me she doesn't want you here. I'm respecting her wishes." From my bedroom, I could hear every word while I held Oliver close against my chest. My mother's voice became louder. "You're kidnapping my family. You're turning Sarah against us." "No," Ellen answered. "I'm protecting Sarah from the people who hurt her. Those are 2 very different things. I never hurt her," Patricia cried. "I love my daughter." Ellen's voice remained calm but unshakable. You told her to figure everything out while she was bleeding and needed emergency medical care. That isn't love. That's neglect. There was another long silence. Finally, my mother's voice cracked with emotion. I made one mistake. Can't she just forgive me? Ellen sighed. Forgiveness isn't something I can give you. She paused before adding quietly, but if you truly want a chance to earn Sarah's forgiveness someday, you first have to face the truth. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming everyone else. Accept what really happened. You chose a concert over your daughter's life. Until you honestly understand that, nothing can begin to heal. From outside, I heard my mother whisper one final sentence. It wasn't like that. But deep inside, I knew it was exactly what had happened. It happened exactly the way I remembered it. Until you can admit the truth, you are not welcome in this house. I heard my mother's footsteps fading away. A moment later, the front door closed, followed by the sound of a car door slamming. The engine started, and she drove away without looking back. Ellen slowly walked back into the house. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was calm. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know she's your mother, but I couldn't let her treat you that way. Tears rolled down my face. Thank you, I said. Thank you for protecting me when my own mother wouldn't. 6 weeks after giving birth, I went to my follow-up appointment with Dr. Morrison. After finishing the examination, she smiled warmly. You're healing very well, she said. Physically, your recovery is going exactly as expected. But how are you doing emotionally? I thought for a moment before answering. Better than I imagined. My mother-in-law has been incredible. Jason took paternity leave so he could stay home with me and the baby. I've had real support. And your mother? Dr. Morrison asked gently. I haven't spoken to her since everything happened. She keeps sending letters and gifts, but I don't answer. Dr. Morrison nodded with understanding. I think that's the healthiest decision for now. She became quiet for a moment before continuing. Sarah, I've been an obstetrician for 27 years. I've treated countless postpartum emergencies. One thing I've learned is that family shows its true colors during a crisis. I looked at her. What do you mean? The people who stand beside you when your life falls apart are your real family. The people who make excuses, disappear, or put themselves first are not. Blood doesn't automatically make someone family. Her words hit me harder than I expected. Your mother-in-law drove 3 hours without hesitation. A nurse who barely knew you cared for your baby for 6 straight hours. Your husband put his career on hold for weeks just to help you recover. She paused before adding, that is what family looks like. I let out a slow breath. And my mother chose a Beyoncé concert instead. Dr. Morrison gave a small nod. Exactly. Always believe people when they show you who they truly are. Those words stayed with me long after I left her office. 3 months after Oliver was born, my phone rang. Sarah, it's Christina. My first instinct was to hang up. Then she spoke again. Please don't. I just want to talk. Curiosity made me stay on the line. What do you want? I need to talk about Mom, about everything. Can we meet for coffee? Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a small cafe near my house. Christina looked exhausted. She seemed older than I remembered, as if the last few months had aged her. I sat down with Oliver sleeping peacefully in his carrier. You have 30 minutes. I said. And just so you know, Ellen is sitting at that table over there. I pointed toward my mother-in-law, who smiled politely while giving Christina a protective look that could make anyone nervous. Christina forced a weak smile. Fair enough. She took a deep breath. Sarah, I'm sorry. For the concert. For not standing up for you. For everything. I folded my arms. You were there too. I know. And you watched it happen. I did. She looked down at the table. Mom convinced me you were overreacting. She always said you made medical problems sound worse than they were. I believed her because it was easier than questioning her. I stared at her. I almost died, Christina. Tears filled her eyes. I know that now. I didn't understand then, but I do now. And honestly, Even if it had only been heavy bleeding, you still deserved help. You had just given birth. You were exhausted, scared, and taking care of a newborn. I remained silent. There's something else, she continued. Mom recently asked me to start sending her money. She said you abandoned her over a misunderstanding and that she couldn't pay her bills. I wasn't surprised. What did you tell her? At first, I helped. Then I started asking questions. She looked directly at me. I found your old bank statements at Mom's house. I stayed quiet. They showed that you've been sending her $7,369 every month for the last 10 years She swallowed hard. That's $600,000. Yes, I answered calmly. Christina stared at me in disbelief. How did you even manage to afford that? I worked 70-hour weeks. I lived in a tiny studio apartment until I married Jason. I drove the same 15-year-old car for years. I skipped vacations. I sacrificed almost everything so our parents could live comfortably. She shook her head. Why didn't you ever tell me? Because every time I tried, Mom said you were in graduate school, just starting your career, or paying off student loans. There was always a reason why you couldn't help. She looked ashamed. I've been making 6 figures for 5 years. I know. And she never asked me for a single dollar. No. Only you. Always me. Silence filled the space between us. Finally, Christina spoke. She asked me for $72,000 a month **. She claimed it would only be temporary. I sent her $8,000 before I realized something wasn't right. I sighed. If you keep saying yes, she'll keep asking until there's nothing left. I already told her no. And she called me selfish. Ungrateful. She said I abandoned her just like you did. Her voice broke. For the first time, I saw it. The guilt. The manipulation. The way she always made me feel special while expecting you to carry all the responsibility. It took you long enough. I know. Tears streamed down her face. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I finally understand. I see what she did to you all these years. I studied her carefully. What are you going to do now? I've cut her off financially and emotionally. I'm going to therapy because I need to understand why I kept enabling her. She hesitated before asking quietly, do you think, someday, we could be sisters again? I looked at her for a long time. For the first time in years, she wasn't making excuses. She wasn't defending our mother. She was simply taking responsibility. Maybe, I finally answered. But things can't go back to the way they were. She nodded. I know. I won't keep giving while everyone else keeps taking. I won't be the responsible daughter while everyone praises someone else. I don't want that anymore either, she said softly. I don't want to be Mom's favorite. I just want to be your sister. Then prove it. I will. Stay in therapy. Keep your boundaries. Build a healthy life without Mom controlling you. If you're still doing that a year from now, maybe we can start over. A year. I looked her straight in the eyes. You had 32 years of being treated like the favorite. You can wait 1 year. She smiled through her tears. That's fair. 6 months after giving birth, another surprise arrived. A certified letter from my parents' attorney. They were suing me. The lawsuit claimed I had broken a financial support agreement and was unfairly preventing them from having a relationship with Oliver. I immediately called our family lawyer, Richard Chin. After reading the documents, he laughed. This is one of the weakest cases I've ever seen. Really? Did you ever sign a legal contract promising to support your parents financially? No. I simply started sending money because they said they needed help. Then there's no enforceable agreement. He continued. As for grandparents' visitation rights, the law is very clear. Grandparents don't automatically have the right to see a grandchild. They would have to prove that denying contact harms the child and that the parents are somehow unfit. So what happens now? We answer every accusation with facts. He began making notes. "We'll document everything: the medical emergency after childbirth, your mother's refusal to help, the years of financial support, the manipulation, and what happened after you stopped sending money." "Can they really drag me into court?" "They can file the lawsuit," Richard replied, "but that doesn't mean they'll win." He smiled confidently. "In fact, I think they'll lose badly." The case didn't last long. Only 3 weeks after it began, my parents' attorney withdrew from representing them. Richard had submitted a complete timeline of everything that had happened. It included my postpartum medical emergency, my mother's refusal to help during one of the most dangerous moments of my life, proof that I had sent more than $600,000 over 10 years without asking for anything in return, and evidence showing that the lawsuit only appeared after the money stopped. After reviewing the documents, even their own lawyer reportedly realized the truth. The facts spoke louder than any excuse ever could. The lawyer looked at me with a serious expression and quietly admitted, "My clients never told me the complete story. If I had known everything from the beginning, I would never have agreed to represent them. Please accept my sincere apologies on behalf of Mrs. Price." Those words didn't erase the pain I had been through, but they reminded me that the truth always has a way of coming to light. A year after Oliver was born, we celebrated his first birthday with a small gathering at our home. It wasn't a big event with dozens of guests. It was simple, peaceful, and filled with people who genuinely loved him. Only our closest friends attended, along with my wonderful mother-in-law, Ellen. None of my own relatives were invited, and honestly, I didn't miss them. Oliver was a happy, healthy little boy who laughed easily and filled our home with joy. He knew Ellen very well because she visited twice every month and never missed her Sunday video calls with him. She was a constant part of his life. My parents, on the other hand, were complete strangers to him. He had no idea they even existed, and he certainly didn't know they had walked away from him before he was even 1 month old. Surprisingly, I had found peace with that reality. Ellen baked Oliver's birthday cake herself. It was decorated in beautiful shades of blue and white with "Happy First Birthday, Oliver" carefully written in frosting. Before we cut the cake, she lifted a glass of sparkling cider and smiled warmly. "Here's to Oliver," she said, "and to the family that always shows up." Everyone raised their glasses and repeated the toast together. After the party ended and our guests went home, Jason and I sat quietly on the couch while Oliver slept peacefully nearby. The house was finally calm. Jason gently asked, "Do you think you'll ever speak to your parents again?" I thought about it for a long moment before answering. "I don't know. Maybe one day, if they truly accept responsibility for what they did. But honestly, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm done putting my life on hold hoping they'll suddenly become the parents I always needed." Jason squeezed my hand. "You deserve so much better." I smiled. "I already have better." He looked at me curiously. "What do you mean?" "I have you. I have Ellen. I have Oliver. I have people who actually care about me instead of only caring about what I can give them. That's the family I always wanted." At that moment my phone buzzed. It was a text message from my sister, Christina. 1 year free from mom's manipulation. Therapy is helping. I'm not asking to meet Oliver because I know I haven't earned that yet. I just wanted you to know I'm working on becoming a better person. Happy birthday to my nephew. I showed Jason the message. "Are you going to reply?" he asked. "Yes," I answered. "Because she's actually trying to change." I replied with only a few words. "I'm proud of you. Keep going." About 18 months after my difficult postpartum hemorrhage, I became pregnant again. This time we kept the news private for several months because the pregnancy was considered high risk. I attended countless medical appointments, underwent regular tests, and followed every instruction my doctor gave me. Stress management became just as important as taking vitamins. During one appointment, Dr. Morrison smiled after reviewing my test results. "Everything looks excellent," she said. "Your blood pressure is normal, your blood work is perfect, and the baby is doing wonderfully." I laughed with relief. "What changed?" She answered thoughtfully. "Your body isn't carrying the weight of toxic relationships anymore. Constant emotional stress affects physical health more than most people realize. Now you're surrounded by people who support you instead of draining you. Her words stayed with me. At 38 weeks, I gave birth to our daughter, Emma. The delivery was smooth and uncomplicated. She was healthy, beautiful, and perfect from the moment she entered the world. Ellen rushed to the hospital as soon as she heard the news. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she gently held Emma in her arms. "Two beautiful grandchildren," she whispered. I couldn't ask for a greater blessing. A few hours later, the hospital delivered a package to my room. Inside was an expensive silver baby gift engraved with the words, "To our precious granddaughter Emma. Love, Grandma and Grandpa." I stared at it for several minutes before carefully placing everything back into the box. Then I attached a short letter. "You are not Emma's grandparents. You chose to abandon her brother when he was only 3 weeks old. You accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars from me for years without gratitude. You sued me when I finally established healthy boundaries. Relationships cannot be bought with expensive gifts. If you ever want to earn the title of grandparents, you must first learn how to be loving parents. Until then, please do not contact my children." The package was returned unopened. Nearly 2 years later, I unexpectedly saw my mother while shopping for groceries. She looked older than I remembered. Her hair had turned gray, and the stress on her face was impossible to hide. She noticed Oliver holding my hand while Emma rested quietly in her baby carrier. "They've grown so much," she whispered. "Children usually do," I replied. "Please," she said softly. "Can we talk for just a few minutes?" I checked my watch. "You have 5 minutes." We stood near the produce section while other shoppers walked past us without paying attention. My mother finally spoke. "I'm sorry for everything." I looked directly into her eyes. "What exactly are you apologizing for?" She hesitated. "I chose a concert instead of helping you. I shouldn't have sued you. I took everything you did for granted." I shook my head. "Those are only pieces of the story. Tell the truth." She looked confused. "I don't know what else you want me to say. I want you to admit that you abandoned your daughter during a life-threatening medical emergency. I want you to admit that you valued entertainment over my life. I want you to admit that I supported you financially for years and never received appreciation. I want you to admit that you punished me the moment I stopped giving you money." She looked shocked. "That's such a harsh way to say it." "No," I answered calmly. "That's simply the truth." She lowered her eyes. "I'm trying." "No," I replied. "You're trying to avoid taking full responsibility. You're hoping to skip the difficult part and immediately have access to my children. Real healing doesn't work that way." She asked quietly, "What do you want me to do?" "I want you to get real therapy. I want you to understand why you treated people like they existed only to serve your needs. I want you to change because it's the right thing to do, not because you hope it will earn you a place in my children's lives." "How long will that take?" she asked. "I honestly don't know. It could take years. It could take forever. But I'm no longer waiting." I looked at my children and smiled. I already have a real family. They're the people who stand beside me during the hardest moments of life. She whispered, "That's not fair." I answered gently, "Neither was abandoning me when I needed you most. Neither was accepting my support for years without gratitude. Neither was suing your own daughter for protecting herself." I pushed my shopping cart toward the checkout. Distance is simply the consequence of your choices. As we walked away, Oliver looked up at me. "Mommy, who was that lady?" I smiled sadly. "Someone who used to be part of our family." "Is she still family?" "No, sweetheart." He nodded without another question and became fascinated by the apples stacked beside us. Sometimes children understand simple truths better than adults. Today, my name is Sarah. I am 34 years old. I am a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, and incredibly grateful for the loving mother-in-law who became the mother I always wished for. There was a time when I believed love had to be earned by sacrifice. I sent my parents $7,369 every month for 10 years, a total of $600,000, because I believed family meant giving without limits. I was wrong. When I nearly lost my life after giving birth, the people I expected to save me chose entertainment instead. That single decision changed everything. Yes, I lost the parents I hoped I had. I lost the illusion that blood automatically creates loyalty. I lost years of money, energy, and emotional peace. But I gained something much more valuable. I gained a husband who protects me without hesitation. I gained a mother-in-law who proves every day what unconditional love looks like. I gained children who will always know they are deeply loved. Most importantly, I gained peace, confidence, and the courage to protect my own family. My parents still send birthday cards from time to time. They still try to reconnect without accepting responsibility for the damage they caused. My answer remains the same. No. Because I learned one unforgettable lesson on the day I almost died. Some people only value you for what you provide. The moment you stop giving, they reveal exactly how little they truly cared. Believe what their actions tell you. If you are sacrificing your happiness, your finances, or your peace for people who refuse to value you, remember this: you deserve better. You deserve people who will drop everything when you need help. You deserve people who choose you over convenience, money, or entertainment. You deserve people who love you without conditions. And if the family you were born into cannot be those people, don't be afraid to build a new family from those who genuinely care. Because real family isn't defined by shared blood. Real family is defined by who stands beside you when your world is falling apart.
Are the greatest, Lord.
A message from the snake. Ah, time to leave.
على الفور. نعم سيدي. اسحقوني.
أنت تؤمن ونحن نطيع. أنت تؤمن ونحن نطيع.
لن تشتكي جمالنا.